I cannot believe that Newsweek had the gall to put this out. So the background to this: why is Larry Elder being mentioned here? Larry Elder is running for governor in California. Essentially, what's going on is California started pushing for a recall of Governor Newsom. Now, I believe that he should be recalled, just not right now, because there is no good answer to take his place. And the way the votes are set up, there's a possibility that someone like Larry Elder, who is nuts, a nuts fucking grifter, could possibly get elected if they go through with this. It's California. Don't vote to repeal Governor Newsom. Not yet. Make sure that you have a good progressive Democrat ready to take his place who has some sort of wide appeal. There's a very real chance Elder will become governor with 19% of the vote. Yeah. So tell me why Newsweek is doing this. Our luck, we would get a further right-winger. Why is it DeSantis in this video? Because he is at no chance of getting recalled because Florida loves him. For some reason. Yeah, I don't like this format either. Oh, yeah. No, impeachment is when Congress does it. Fuck you, Newsweek. On paper, California recall candidate Larry Elder seems like the perfect candidate for Christian progressives, known for championing the oppressed and propping up diverse members of the community. A black man born in a blue-collar family, Elder grew up in the Pico Union and South Central areas of Los Angeles. He graduated from Crenshaw High School, the same school featured in the award-winning 1991 film Boys in the Hood, examining race and relationships and gang violence. Who wrote this? Carly Mayberry? Previously, Hollywood, Forbes, Hollywood Reporter, Reuters, and Median News Group. Oh, she has a website. Let's see her About Me page. Let's see here. Apparently contributing to Forbes. Yeah. What is your history, woman, that would make you say such crazy shit to sanitize the record of Larry Elder? Covered government and Native American issues of that region. Holy shit. I expected to see something like she works for like a libertarian think tank, and I didn't see any of that. Despite the racial prejudice that existed in the 1970s, Elder went on to earn a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science from Brown University and Juris Doctor from University of Michigan Law School in 1977. He established himself as a successful radio show host, first on the local KABC in Los Angeles, followed by national syndication on ABC radio networks, and then Salem Media Group. Through hard work and no-nonsense approach to the tough issues, Elder has become one of the leading conservative voices in America. Tune into Fox News, and viewers are likely to see him guest commentating on any one of their numerous programs. If Elder were to win the recall election, he would be the first black governor of California. A woman who demands further gun control is like a chicken who roots for Colonel Sanders. My dad was a Marine. He was one of the Montford Point Marines. Those are the equivalent of the Tuskegee Airmen for Marines. He's a tough guy. When I was 15, we had a fight, and I didn't speak to him for 10 years. Here's him on Dave Rubin, basically condemning black people who were protesting. Outsourcing and globalization of manufacturing allows companies to reduce costs, benefits consumers with lower cost goods and services, causes economic expansion that reduces unemployment, increases productivity and job creation. None of that is true. Except for it does reduce costs for the company, but it doesn't reduce costs of goods because that would eat into profits. It does create economic expansion, but that expansion is into, usually slave labor. Reduces unemployment. Yeah, if you're enslaved, you have a job. Yay. Just to give you a general idea who Larry Elder is. The formula for achieving middle-class success is simple. Finish high school, don't have a child before the age of 20, and get married before having the child. Can't imagine why the Christian left don't support him. Yeah. The number one problem facing this country is the absence of involved responsible fathers. Essentially, Larry Elder is one of those people that sort of LARP as a conservative libertarian voice. But he does it for money. He's like Thomas Sowell. And his main goal, his main job, is to basically say the things about black people that if white people said it, it would be racist. The fatherless thing, which isn't fucking true. I step away for a second. We're talking Larry Elder. Well, because Newsweek is trying to sanitize his shit to help him win in California for some reason. Apparently, the Christian left should vote for him. So why then aren't leaders from the Christian left, the conscious Christians, as they're dubbed, known for their support of Black Lives Matter, criticism of white patriarchal dominance, and a desire for those historically persecuted to succeed, voicing support for the Sage of South Central, as Elder has come to be known? That's to who? To who? That's the question some of his supporters are raising. Those who say it's the moment of truth for Christian left preaching reparations and support of the disadvantaged to support a candidate like Elder. As far as I know, Larry Elder has said that he does not support reparations. Are you fucking kidding me? After all, regardless of Governor Newsom's record leading the state of California as a multimillionaire intertwined by blood, marriage, and money to previous California Democrats and political families, including the Browns, the Pelosi's, and the Gettys, there's no debating he's the epitome of white privilege. Yes. Conservative ID poll. Nice. Conservative Christians in support of Elder say the answer is simple. His politics simply don't fit the politically correct liberal narrative. So what you're trying to say is the reason left-wing Christians don't support Larry Elder isn't because he's black, like you're trying to frame it, but because, oh yeah, his politics are dog shit. Wow. What a revelation. God damn. I'm not sure how you came to that conclusion. Just blowing my mind here. Crazy. Crazy stuff. The left-wing clergy in this case show that for them, it ultimately comes down to total Democrat control, as opposed to total Republican control, where they literally oust anyone who has the gall to go against the orthodoxy. Like Liz Cheney, who is now apparently a rhino, related to Dick Cheney, the most powerful and right-wing vice president we've ever had. Or Mitt Romney, the guy who ran for president on the Republican ticket and said things like, what was it, 47% of the country will never vote for me because they don't pay taxes. Talked about having binders full of women. Even George W. Bush is apparently a rhino now. But I'm sure it just has to do with liberal orthodoxy, which means what? What is liberal orthodoxy? What is left-wing about it? Yeah, she's a Republican in name only, and I'm not a pothead. Okay, Jan. I take it you're a pothead. Everything else takes a backseat to that eternal objective. Even race. The anti-ID poll people. That reminds me how right-wing the church is. For the right amount of money, they can give you a God-approved letter to give anyone who tells you that you should get vaccinated or even put a mask in PR. Yeah. Murdoch said that the same people who scream about and denounce white privilege are lining up to support the white rich Newsom over a black man who is not super wealthy. $16 million. The man is worth $16 million, but yeah. You guys starting to get why I'm covering this? Holy shit. These folks will march in the streets and demand diversity, but now that they have the chance to support what could be the first black governor of California, they embrace the rich white guy. What utter hypocrisy. It's almost like he has dogshit policies that more benefit rich white people than anything. It's literally what he's all about, is literally pushing politics that benefit rich white people. That's what Larry Elder does. There's no hypocrisy here. He's just black. That's the only thing you have is he's black, therefore. But his policies only benefit rich white people. $60 million. I mean, that's no Hassan buying a $3 million house, but I can see that he's definitely one of us poors. Yeah, right? How is this hypocrisy? Because he's black. That's it. That's the answer. That's the same argument why we should have voted for Herman Cain or fucking Ben Carson. No. Ignore their politics and the policies that they're going to push for that will actually be very harmful to poor and black people. Ignore all that. They're black themselves. Isn't that what identity politics means? Because it's what it means to Republicans. Is blackwashing a thing? Well, it's whitewashing blackness. I'll put it that way. Urban is way too dead for that, yeah. But they use the same argument in 2016. They use that same argument. They use that same argument anytime a black conservative runs. They tried to use that in Michigan. Gary Peters was being run against by, yes, a black man. Black Republican. He was Trumpian as fuck. Why didn't he get elected? Is it because Michigan is just racist? Or does it have something to do with the fact that his policies are dog shit and remind us of, oh yeah, the last Republicans who were in charge of this state, who, did things like bankrupt the Detroit school system, cause our roads to get degraded because he wanted to cut funding for the road authority, ignoring the fact that winter destroys our fucking roads, which is why we need constant construction. Oh yeah, and cause the Flint water crisis. Why wouldn't we vote for a Republican like that? I wonder why. It must be because we're racist and we're hypocrites. COVID is bullshit. Whoops, why the forever box? Yeah. Oh, man. I laughed way too hard when he died. And then the world still felt as shit anyways, because we're in hell. Anyways. In terms of well-known figures publicly endorsing Elder, Conservatives, including former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, known black civil rights leader, and evangelical pastor Jack Hibbs are on the list. Elder's campaign on Monday released a statement noting that Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright and filmmaker screenwriter David Mamet had endorsed him. Well, fuck that guy. While Newsweek reached out to Mamet for comment, the legendary scribe did not respond in time for publication. However, in the release, Mamet used a metaphor to describe the situation in California and Elder's candidacy. The addicted gambler sits over his last few chips and says to his friend, "Just wait for me until I've lost these." A good friend would drag him away from the table. Elect Larry Elder. Ignoring the fact that Larry Elder would be the dealer making all the money, or the owner of the casino. Elder joins the list of candidates running in the recall election on September 14th, including Republicans John Cox, Kevin Faulconer, Kevin Kiley, and Olympic athlete and Keeping Up with the Kardashians star, Caitlyn Jenner, who they threw under the bus because, oh yeah, trans. Kamen Fathrath, a YouTuber and financial analyst, is the only Democrat on the ballot. Ah, that's so much better. That's the only Democrat on the ballot. A financial YouTuber. Good job, California. Just bring in your A game. A move Politico reported Newsom's team helped manufacture. Ah, now it all makes sense. Okay. So there's literally no good choices to replace Newsom. So they might end up with fucking Larry Elder, a literal insane person. In Elder's case, even the process of running has had its challenges for him. After strategically announcing his run in mid-July, California Secretary of State Shirley Weber tried to disqualify him, claiming he failed to file complete tax returns. But did he fail to do that? She didn't try to stop him just because he's Larry Elder. If he didn't turn in the right tax documentation, which is probably required by the law, yeah, I would say that's disqualifying and has less to do with who he is and more to do with the fact that he might have broke the fucking law. This article is wild. This is a trip. Absolute trip. Elder's attorneys swiftly reconciled that, not only making him an official candidate, but also generating headlines that the other candidates probably wished were theirs. Meaning, he tried to break the law, got caught, and then when his candidacy was about to be jeopardized, he fixed the situation. Got it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, sounds good. Good. It's good shit. Recent UC Berkeley Institute of Governmental Studies poll shows Elder currently favored by 18% of likely voters who support the recall. However, an August 4th survey from the San Diego Union Tribune found Elder leading his Republican counterparts with 43% of the GOP voters' support. Good shit. Good shit. Still, a recent story by Newsweek noted that even if the disproportionate percentage of Republicans leading the charge to oust Newsom all vote, they'd still be outnumbered by about 80,000 Democrats. Thus, this article. Meanwhile, Elder has been making the rounds, publicly addressing the state's urban housing, public safety, and environmental problems. You know, he likes to say things like climate change is a myth. Likes to say that there should be no such thing as urban housing projects, that everyone should just pull themselves up by the bootstraps. And the actual problem is there's the houses that they're not married and they have kids, and the fathers, there's no fathers. Where are the fathers? Why are the fathers not there? I don't know. Where'd the fathers go? Where'd they go? There's the dad's gone. Crazy. couldn't require any sort of, systemic analysis that explains why black people are still poor and how they're targeted by police more than white people, leading to them being arrested a lot more. And a study found that black fathers are actually more present in their child's upbringing than white fathers. Yeah. Facts-based conservative opinions. That's the guy that left-wing churchgoers should vote for. In terms of California's mounting homeless crisis, he's criticized the state's housing first policy and advocates for an approach that includes low-cost housing, treatment centers, and getting more local churches involved in the rehabilitation process. I would say the devil's in the details on that. To an extent, I'm for that, but I don't trust Larry Elder at all. He's set to hold a press conference via Zoom on Friday to discuss crime, anti-Asian violence, and critical race theory. Dr. John Jackson is a Christian leader and president of William Jessup University in California, who said that while he doesn't specifically support Elder, he is supportive of many of the candidates with conservative positions. Jackson claims that regardless of whom you support, the recall for Governor Newsom is appropriate. And notice how they're not saying that this doctor has some racial issues, but they have to call out hypocrisy from the left because we supported BLM, therefore Larry Elder. He has violated the norms of constitutional government and abused his constitutional authority and is acting unilaterally and inappropriate with the legislature, said Jackson, referring to Newsom's overreaching use of power during, the COVID-19 pandemic and in general. Keep in mind, Newsom's not a good guy. I don't defend Newsom, but this all has to do with the COVID lockdowns. That's all this is. What I love about Larry Elder is that he is desiring to govern from a set of principles that returns authority to the local community and to families, and does not have centralized authority in the government, said Jackson, who made that generalization that every black person was on the left. I wonder. While Newsweek reached out to multiple figures known as progressive Christians, including VeggieTales creator Phil Vischer, pastor and New York Times best-selling author David Platt, Wheaton College's Ed Stetzer, the theologian and preacher Russell Moore, and author Gregory Thompson, only Thompson responded. Thompson, an author, scholar, and theologian whose work focuses on racial healing in America, said that while he can't speak for progressive Christians in general, and that he's not even certain he'd consider himself one. Newsom having dinner at the $700 plate French Laundry with a bunch of doctors to talk about COVID was a bad look. Absolutely was. I totally agree with that. Like I said, Newsom is not a good guy, but there are far worse. I love that the one guy they got to quote doesn't even consider himself a part of this group that they're searching for. And that he's not even certain he'd consider himself one, like I said. It doesn't surprise him that people would vote for a white privileged guy with hair slicked back with policies that match their own. Yeah, because it's about the policies and how they'll have an effect on people. My assumption is that they are looking for candidates who embrace policies that are focused on interventions for the sake of the poor, and that conservatism as a political ideology historically has portrayed itself as the hope for that, but hasn't backed that up, said Jackson, noting he's not versed on Larry Elder or his politics. So this is the guy that doesn't actually support Larry Elder. Doesn't know anything about him. Doesn't know his policies. But he's got things to say. He's got assumptions to make, people. And to shut him down and point out that he clearly is talking out of his ass it's taking away his free speech rights. We can't do that. We just can't. Thompson grew up in a conservative context in South Carolina. No shit. The simple fact that every intervention towards racial integration has to be federally mandated. The fact is that those local communities have not, in fact, done that. As French Laundry like Four Seasons, said Thompson, in principle, it would be awesome if less government was involved and federal agencies didn't have to meddle in communities, but communities have maintained a basic racial status quo, so a lot of times what you see is that federal intervention has to happen. Usual conservative claptrap. They have French cuisine at laundromats now. Big government is the problem, guys. Yeah. That's an interesting quote. Jackson, who grew up in Southern California when Tom Brady was mayor of Los Angeles, said Thompson's basic point is a fair one, but a sad one. The challenge is that many of our liberal politicians say the right things, but they literally don't incarnate them by living them out, said Jackson. We in the faith community need to live out our principles by supporting politicians of all colors and all backgrounds who embrace principles that we're in alignment with and return authority and responsibility to individuals and families and not centralized government. Okay, so what you're telling me is you had a criticism earlier that liberals aren't voting for Larry Elder because of his policies, but they should support him because he's black. Meanwhile, wrong Tom Brady. Meanwhile, you are literally saying that you support him because he has the policies you like. Conservatism is a brain rot, man. An absolute brain rot. How is this not blatantly transparent to people? Oh, you just don't want to vote for him because his policies are bad. But you should vote for him because he's black. I'm voting for him because his policies I like. Oh, so you just like his policies, and you understand why we're not voting for him because Gavin Newsom's policies more align with ours. Therefore, voting for Larry Elder would be against the policies we support. But you think that we just care about ID politics as, a blanket thing. Black man running, therefore we should vote for him. That we would vote for somebody who would be detrimental to us. Ah, got it. For fuck's sake. Jackson, who predicts that conservatives will vote for the recall but will probably split their vote among the crowded field of candidates, noted that while in the 1950s and 60s, federal intervention was required in regards to desegregation and ensuring fairness in education, and the nation has come a great distance since then. Ah, okay. So, you didn't like that the federal government intervened, but now you have to walk it back a little bit and say, but it was good for black people that they did intervene to end segregation. I guess. But big government me no like. We're seeing really strong education and advancement for people of color, for society as a whole. The election of President Obama, there it is an indication of that. We didn't require federal intervention to accomplish that. Did you not bother to look up whether or not interracial marriage was ever illegal federally? Holy shit. It was literally... Barack Obama would not exist if it wasn't for the Loving decision. I cannot believe this person said that. He literally would not have been born in the US. Interracial marriage would still be banned. I'm trying not to get too loud because I'll wake up the kid. But... What? It's anti-Semitic to vote for Bernie if he has good policy. I don't understand. How can you literally say that the election of President Obama had nothing to do with federal investigation and intervention when literally it was the Civil Rights Act passed federally? It was literally the Loving decision passed federally. It was literally the federal government, as you admit, intervening to end segregation. Obama doesn't get there. Obama doesn't even get born or conceived of in the United States. without with all this federal intervention not existing. That is the dumbest thing I've ever read. Tell me where I'm wrong. I would be a lot more wildly upset if I did not have a sleeping child on the other side of the wall behind me. Like, I'm fighting it back. Holy shit. Holy shit. That hurt. That physically hurt me. When you think about someone like Herman Cain, Thomas Sowell, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Ben Carson, it actually got worse. It actually got worse. Ben Carson was not the Secretary of Health and Human Services. He was put as the Secretary of HUD. Housing and Urban Development. This man is incredibly stupid. Using Ben Carson as the example and getting his role in government wrong. Because he probably thought of him the same way Trump did. Well, he's a doctor, therefore he was the head of Health and Human Services. Yeah, and exactly antithesis. Because Trump thought of him as, well, he's black, so I'm putting him in charge of HUD. Just so... Oh my God. Let's see if it gets worse. We don't celebrate those folks because that doesn't fit the narrative. Yeah, their policies are dog shit. That's why we don't support people with dog shit policies. Imagine that. You know, man who clearly is very fucking educated in politics. Which, I need to go back to this again. Noting he's not versed on Larry Elder or his politics. So he doesn't even know who Larry Elder is, but he knows that people are racist for not supporting him. Oh. It seriously does. Oh my God. He's ending this magnificently. This paragraph, these two paragraphs undo everything he previously said, except for the fact that he already discredited himself by saying he doesn't even know who Larry Elder is or what his politics are. They often use persons of color to fit their agenda, to have a strong centralized government. And what exactly are you doing, bud? You don't even support the guy or know who he is. But oh boy, you sure want him to win against the liberals. Because the white rich liberal could win, and that means that we're racist and not, the fact that Larry Elder supports policies that would literally back up racism and white supremacy. The all-knowing, whatever the fuck his name is, Jackson. So when a Larry Elder comes up, again, someone he has no idea anything about him, they do not know what to do with him. Actually, we do. We know not to vote for him because he has dogshit policies. So they either ignore him or accuse him of not caring about his people, which is pretty close to the statements he's said publicly, which to me is a racist statement in itself. Oh shit. That was a grand finale. That was like watching a fireworks show and that was the grand finale. Right there at the end. Just boom 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 boom. What the fuck? Newsweek, fire this lady. She literally got sources that aren't sources. Yeah, the big kerpow. Oh my God. I got a comment. It's probably not going to get approved, but God, I hope it does. I don't know how to move on from that. That was a ride. That was a ride. You feel like you just got off of a roller coaster? Like the longest roller coaster you've ever been on? Because I do. You know what? If this article were satire, it'd be hilarious. This should be an Onion article. They need to add in like more like sarcastic references to the fact that he doesn't even know who Larry Elder is. I don't know who Larry Elder is, but I do know he's black and conservative. Therefore, I'm going to make a bunch of generalizations about Democrats. Hey, it's Mark and Eli. I hope you're doing well. Hope you liked the video. If you liked it, why don't you like, comment, and subscribe? My child may stop picking on me. Uh, uh.